from waiting for the time to get to school. What I'm thinking is that time has come in which we need to start thinking about the energy in the young people, how that energy can be channeled into production. How do we rechannel that energy, that creativity, that innovation into something productive? When they are at home, what plan do you have for them? What strategy do they have? Do you support those strategies? Do you support those plans? Do you talk about them? I want a family in which there should be dialogue. As soon as your kid comes to home, you already initiate a dialogue in that seek probes them on what do you plan to do during this time. How can we support you to do it? Even if you don't have the financial input, you could connect them to people who can help them even with advice. But you also always don't have to start initiatives that need money if you don't have money. There are so many initiatives that you could just do without money, like planting a tree around your home is something that doesn't need so much money, but then it's an investment that can help you to go to school for even 4 or 5 years, depending. So what I will think about is how what is lacking is purposeful and meaningful life. We lack purpose, and then whenever we lack purpose, then we mess doing up things that are irrelevant. Then the next thing is lack of strategy. Do you even have strategy of running family, strategy of dealing with your children? Parents don't have that. Governments lack strategy to even intervene in the life of young people, yet it is the biggest population in the whole country. How the government lack the most resourceful population, the most innovative population, the most productive population just run into waste because the government doesn't have a clear strategy on how to deal with the young people, not just dealing with them, how to use to help the young people rechannel, to use the population of young people to produce for production so that the economy may reflect. The economy of the country could reflect if a huge number of the population of young people are involved in the process of production. So what I'm trying to say is family zero strategy, government zero strategy, churches have no strategies, and even those business entities, even those parastatal organizations, even those private entities, they don't have strategies of young people, yet they are the most resourceful, the most innovative, the most promising people that we have. So what I'm trying to think, because we need to start thinking about the strategy that we creating strategies of how we can come together with this population of young people in order to increase production in family, production in churches, production in governments, production in the business quarters, and all those other things. So what I'm trying to my thinking is that purpose is lacking, strategy is lacking, and what's the worst thing that I think is lacking is the planning. In counties, we always have those things called strategic plans. In organizations, non-governmental organizations, we have strategic plans. A life that has no plan, how do you even live it? I've seen projects cannot be implemented without a plan. Family life is a project. You must have a plan on how it's supposed to run. And those plans must incorporate the economic dimensions. It must incorporate the social dimension, spiritual dimension. It must incorporate with it the political dimensions. How can you run a family without a plan? Even governments may not run without a plan. But then plan of how the young people may be able to use their God-given skills and all those other skills in order to increase productions and better lives. It's extremely lacking. So my proposal for the solution of this is what? uh, of course, apart from having purpose, apart from having a clear strategy of how to run our families, our governments, our churches, our business entities is paramount. The next thing, we need to have a clear strategy. The third thing, we need to have a plan. And then what else? We need to be able to identify those talents that the young people have within their respective family. There is no Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is a saint of the Catholic Church who said that there is nobody who is so poor that has nothing to give. There is nobody who is poor that has nothing to give in this world. Somebody must always have something. God is not that mean. God is not mean. Somebody has something to give. What I'm trying to say is everybody has some talent. How can those talents be, how can government create frameworks in which those talents can be nurtured in order to increase production of young people? The families. These talents have to begin with families. How can we create frameworks and networks between families and churches and governments so that the talents that our kids have within their respective families are identified, are nurtured and supported for growth? That's a big thing. And then the other thing is innovation. As I've already indicated, the business world, the farming world, Africa is actually a agricultural land. And then what do? We wait for other countries to do innovation on our behalf. How can the brains of young people be put deep into the agricultural land and bring about innovations that are agriculture and food security related? Like what you talk about, some young people have been so successful in rabbit production, in production of mbogas and other things, in the production of poultry, in the production of cattle and other things, in poultry and all those things. How can we take our mind into the agricultural spaces and then discover what can be done in those spaces? We don't have to rust and die in the cities. The devolution has happened. It is time that when you don't have something to do in the cities, go home and do innovation back in the villages. You can even do innovations within the cities. I've seen people starting dancing crews, singing crew, comedy crews, and all those other things. There is no day that you should sit in your house and say, I'm poor and I'm dying poor. There is no space for that. You need to start thinking about what do we have and what do others, friends of mine have, and how can we work together in order to improve that which we have. So innovation is, so there is so much space. I go to, if it doesn't work in Kisumu, I take it to Rukana, I take it to Molo. Whatever production works where, try to remove those spaces, those cocoons in which you let your head lie and start thinking broad. You belong to Kenya. That means you can bring creativity, creative production anywhere in this country and even in the whole world. The space is big. It's only the space in your head that has grown so small that cannot think. So what I'm trying to propose is that there is supposed to be, apart from building talents, increasing innovation among the young people, there is time that the parents, we need to start to talk about this, because none of this thing can come forth until there is a family talk, until there is government to young people talk, until there is church to young people talk, until there is business entities to young people talk. There should be a talk, dialogue beginning from the families. It is only there you start to identify the talents. Talk about things that are sensitive, because when you leave them for the young people to imagine, that becomes a big trouble for you. Because if there is a problem in relationship, talk to your child about it, because they will soon get into relationship and they might not find solution because you never shared your problem and your solution with your kid. If there is food problem in the family, let them know that this is our reality and we are working every day in order to change that situation, so that they can be involved in changing the situation of food insecurity in the family. If there is lack of school fees and all those other things, lack of money in the family, speak about it. Talk to your child about it. Talk to your child about it every day, so that they are able to identify with that reality and appreciate it more. Tell them that it is not the end of it. Tell them even that they have an opportunity to change the course of their lives. I was born in a poor family. Okay, nobody had a conversation with me about it. But then God did change me, and then I'm beginning to start talking, doing a collective parenting, so that we can already talk about this at the level of the families, that the parents should be able to know, do a stock change of what do they have as a family, and what do their kids have, and what can they do together as a family, so that to increase production. There should be increase in production in the families, increase in production in the churches. We don't just pray to God. We need to pray to God, but at the same time be practical about God, because God doesn't has to bless you. Pray to God to bless your skills, your innovation. But if you have nothing to be blessed, why do you even go to church? So you go to church, tell God, please, I'm thinking about this idea, bless it. Please, I have this business, bless it. Please, I have this and this, bless it. So you don't go to church just for nothing. Go to church because you have something productive to offer. And then the final thing is that the government should actually need to wake up seriously. We actually are tired of the evil of our government. You have to wake up to the realization that the youth population is the biggest population, and the sooner you help in empowering the young people and creating spaces for young people, the better for this country. Otherwise, the future of this country is doomed. This country has no future if the future of young people is paralyzed. And this thing of youth discrimination and all those things, I wanted to talk to those youths that have made it, the celebrities, the youths in government, the youths in churches, the youths in business quarters, the youths in different families, to try hard and raise these other young people who are still struggling, who are still coping, who are still hoping that one day they will have a better life and a better future. Because if families are as dysfunctional as they are, if governments continue being dysfunctional as it is, if business entities don't even care, actually, if young people are not protected, are not empowered, the businesses will suffer, because there will be same young people with energy and skill will use their skills and energy to come and steal your businesses. So you better use your businesses to help them, so that they may not steal from you in future, because when they come to steal from you, they might even take your very own life. Then the second thing is the same young people that the government is trying to ignore is the same people that will create a civil war. So if you don't empower the young people as a government, you are preparing the country into a civil war, because when these people will not be comfortable, you will not be comfortable as a government. If they are not productive, then their lack of production will only affect you. If families don't help their own kids, the first people that will suffer is them. If parents don't raise their kids well, the people who will suffer is them. You make your child very vegetative and very dependent. When you die, the whole property will go away, because you gave your child everything. You gave them everything in the name of love. Now that you're dead and they are alone, then they don't know what to do with their lives, and then they start drinking, they start moving around and raping women and all those things. And then what happens to them? They sell all your property, something that you sweated for. Make them think, make them more productive for the sake of your own security. If the young people are not safe, if they are not productive, they are not innovative, then the future is doomed, and every entity will suffer, including the churches. There is no entity that will be spared, because if one of you is affected, as the saying goes, then all of us are affected. If one of us is in pain, it should bother all of us. If the young people as a key entity in this country is in pain, then all of us should be concerned. So my reflection today is, in summary, is about young people. And I love it that you've listened to it till this far. The young people, what brought about this reflection is about the teenage pregnancy. And it brought me into the thinking that there is a lot more that have not been addressed in the life of young people. I've only listed a few. Maybe one day I share an article that I'm trying to put together on the life of young people, and then you may be able to interact with it. But then this should make everything in clear, as in summary. The key thing is that there is an issue that need to be addressed. There need to, and the only solution to this is that there must be purpose, there must be strategy, and there must be plan. And apart from plan, we need to identify those values, those skills that are God given in the life of young people, and we need to try to raise it. We need to try to make it better, so that the future for the young people is better. And when the future of young people is better, then the whole society is secure and better. Thank you. Be blessed.